morning, friends. Good morning, everyone. Today, our topic of discussion is on communication systems. In this lecture, I will provide the notes what is required for the communication systems. So, this is the chapter in which what for to start with we have the first and foremost question. What is what is communication? So I divide the entire chapter into specific questions and then I will give answers here so that you can make and write the notes. So what is communication? Communication is an act of communication is an act of transmission transmission and transmission and reception of and reception of information. Transmission and reception of information. So this is the first part. This is how one can answer the question. I'll tell like questions and answers so that you can see. Now the second part. So let's see the second question. The question number 2 is, what are the elements of communication? What are the elements of communication? This is the question. There are certain things what you need to communicate. So here we have the thing is the communication requires in fact 3 elements. Communication requires 3 elements. They are transmitter, the second one is medium or channel, and the third thing what you need is a receiver. So these are called elements of communication. So this is the question number 2. Let's go ahead. And now the third question. Draw the block diagram of generalized communication system. Generalized communication system. Draw the block diagram of generalized communication system. So you need to draw and show how does the generalized communication system looks like. So you have something called, in the first block we write information source. information source. That is in the first block. And from here we get message signal. From here we get a message signal. And now here at this place you have a transmitter. You have a transmitter here. And then the transmitter, what it does is it produces a transmitted signal. It will produce a signal and it will be transmitted. It contains a transmitted signal. This is what it does. And now this transmitted signal will reach certain point. So that point is called a channel. And in this channel, from outside, there will be something which is added up that is called noise. From outside, we will get some unwanted signal that is called noise. And again, from the channel, we get a received signal. Received signal. So after that, we have, in order to receive the signal, we have something called receiver. We have a receiver. You have a receiver, and then this receiver from here on. So here you go. This is the block. And from this receiver, you get a message signal. You will get a message signal. And from here, we have another block. Here, it's us who will receive. That is the user of communication. So that's the user of communication will be here for us. So this is how the block diagram of generalized communication system will be. So here at this part, this block is our communication system. This block is our communication system. I hope you are clear how to write this block diagram. Now, let's move on to the next question. Now, the next question is, what? Describe a communication system. Describe a communication system. We need to describe a communication system. So to write the answer, I'll give you the answer here. You can make the notes. In a communication system, in a communication system, the transmitter is located. The transmitter is located. Transmitter is located at one place. At one place. The receiver is located. The receiver is located at some other place. At some other place. It can be far or near. It can be far or near. Separate from the transmitter. Separate from the transmitter. Separate from the transmitter, and the channel is the channel is the physical medium. Physical medium that connects them. Connects them. So this is how one can describe the things which are the things which are present in the communication system. So we will discuss further the question what. So we'll discuss next question. What is a channel? What is a channel? So what is a channel? How do we describe a channel? So a channel can be described like this. Depending upon the communication system, a channel may be a channel may be in the form of wires or cables, connecting transmitter, receiver, and the receiver, connecting transmitter and the receiver, connecting transmitter and the receiver, or it may be wireless, or it may be wireless. So this is how one can answer. Next question. So you can pause the video and then note down the answers. Next question goes like this. what is the purpose of what is the purpose of transmitter what is the purpose of a transmitter? So that's the question. So I choose like this. Okay, the strict line. The purpose. Okay, it's I think it's too thin. The purpose of, just a minute. The purpose of a transmitter. The purpose of a transmitter is to is to convert the message signal message signal produced by the source produced by the source of information source of produced by the source of information into a form suitable for transmission through the channel. The suitable for the transmission through the channel. Transmission through the channel. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. So the next question goes like this. Yeah, we see the next question. What are the probable things that can happen? What are the probable things that can happen when a transmitted signal when a transmitted signal propagates through the channel through the channel. What are the probable things that can happen when a transmitted signal propagates through the channel? So the answer would be when a transmitted signal transmitted signal propagates propagates through the channel through the channel through the channel. So what are the probable things that can happen when a transmitted signal propagates through the channel? When a transmitted signal propagates through the channel, it may get distorted. It may get distorted due to channel imperfection. It may get distorted due to channel imperfection. Moreover, a noise can get added up. Moreover, a noise can get added up to the transmitted signal. To the transmitted signal. To the transmitted signal, and the receiver and the receiver and the receiver receives a corrupted version of the corrupted version of the corrupted version of the transmitted signal. Transmitted signal. And the receiver can receive the corrupted version of the transmitted signal. These are the things that can happen. So let's see the next question. You can pause the video and note down the question. So I'll move on to the next question. So let's see the next. So here we go. So the next question is, what is the task of the receiver? What is the task of the receiver? This is what we have to write. The receiver has the task of operating on the received signal received signal. It constructs a recognizable form it constructs a recognizable form of the original message signal of the original message signal for delivering it for delivering it delivering it to the user to the user of the information. So this is the task of the receiver. What is the task, or they can ask what is the job of the receiver? The receiver has the task of operating on the received signal. It constructs a recognizable form of the original message signal for delivering it to the user of information. This is the answer for this question. So let's see the next question. The next question is, what are the various things used in communication? What are the various things used in communication? So in communication, we use several things such as source of information. Source of information. So what could be the source of information? It can be speech. It can be a speech, pictures, words. It can be codes, or it can be symbols. It can be symbols. It can be commands. It can be commands. It can be any kind of data. So that's the source of information. So what are the devices that can be used as transmitters? What are the things that can be used as transmitters? The transmitters are oscillators, amplifiers, they can be amplifiers, they can be optic fibers, they can be optic fibers, which are used in the present generation. FIBRES. FIBRES, optic fibers. And now what are receivers? Receivers are TV, radio, computer, telephone, telephone, printer, telegraph, fax. Okay, all these things. Printer, telegraph, fax, internet. These are all come under the receiver part. Hope it's clear. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, what are the basic modes of communication? What are the basic modes of communication? So we have to see this. There are two basic modes of communication. There are two basic modes of communication. There are two basic modes of communication. Point to point. So the first one is point to point. Point to point. This is one mode of communication. So point to point mode of communication is it's also called point to point mode. It's also called point to point mode or point to point communication mode. So you can write point to point communication mode. Point to point communication mode. Communication takes place communication takes place over a link between a single transmitter and a receiver. A single transmitter and receiver. Single transmitter and receiver. That is a case of point to point mode of communication. So there is other mode of communication. What we see is the next one. The other mode of communication is called broadcast. So this is actually the example for this point to point is telephone communication. So we speak to telephone. Nowadays we can speak with multiple people, but now the normal telephone conversation is point to point. The next one is a kind of broadcast. It's called broadcast. The next type of communication is called broadcast. In the broadcast mode, and the broadcast mode, in the broadcast mode, there are a large number of a large number of there are a large number of receivers there are a large number of receivers corresponding to a signal transmitter signal signal transmitter. The example is radio and TV. So examples are radio and TV. So this ends the part 1 of communication systems, and the part 2 I'll be uploading soon. So if you like the video, please hit a like and do subscribe. Thank you all. Thanks for watching the video, and you can pause the video and make notes. Thank you.